Hey everyone, welcome to today's reading. I'm particularly excited for this one. It just felt so energetically sensitive, and we'll move into that. So when I sat down to pull the spread, the image that came forward first was crossing over a bridge and meeting someone on the other side, meeting someone significant on the other side. And the words that went with that were when one becomes two. Okay, and I know a frequent or more common phrasing around it is, when two become one. But this was the before of that. This was the movement from one crossing this bridge over into becoming two. Okay, and other aspects that came forward for me around that were unification, a bridge moment, okay, joining hands with another, and partnership and collaboration. And so, in whatever form that's meeting you in your life right now, whether that be a return to self, a romantic partnership, some form of collaboration, um, perhaps creative collaboration, or maybe it's with yourself and maybe a particular project, and whatever other, again, collaborations and partnerships are coming in for you right now. Perhaps that's with spirit, with God, your higher power, um, and whatever really signifies a bridge moment for you. And so I also, this was new, this was interesting, and when I sat down from Archangel Gabriel, I got a Seven of Wands is what came through, and I've never had a specific card come through before I've even pulled the spread. And so I looked that up with this with a specific deck was the nudge, and what jumped out for me in that particular meaning was your life is headed in the right direction. That was part of what was written in the guide, and that stood out. Okay, and so whatever is happening right now, whatever these inklings are, these stirrings, as you take these moments to move in that direction, act on that, you're heading in the right direction for yourself. Okay. And so the first card of the spread that we pulled was the World card. First time I've pulled this card, so that was very exciting. And this is the card of integration, and I love that. And here we're talking about these partnerships and collaboration, and she's surrounded by these beings. Okay, and there's a circle here, this full circle. And I love that with the bridge moment, okay? The bridge moment. And what it says here is that it says the culmination of magical lessons, life, and love unfold as the witch becomes the world dancer. All right, and I'm getting like with the world like that, this almost this spark, this fire shooting up out of the chest, and just this culmination, this like everything coming together, and really this calling of like just like stepping into this version of yourself, um, that in again in ways is always been there, but is also really different from how you've really let yourself fully emerge before. Okay. And so we also have that outstanding work and smashing success, that this card signifies outstanding work and smashing success. And what came through for me around that was the door, or the door or doors or portal that you're moving through right now, that bridge that you're crossing, this door, this portal is magic. Like, this is a very, to me, this feels like a very just like magical card. Okay. And so keep moving through that, keep moving through it. um and what the image that also came with this card that came through was, it was like there was this thread in the universe. Okay, there was this like golden orangish yellow thread, and this opening that was happening, and like this portal that you're moving through. And it's really feels less like a stepping through, though it is a stepping through, but you just experience it as this opening. Okay, this light opening. um And it's like you've opened this like thread in time and in space in the universe, where all of that magic exists. And at that time there was this kind of like you're dancing in that, and it's just like, again, that almost like that fire's coming through that, though that doesn't feel as, in this moment it doesn't feel like you're dancing through it. It feels, it almost, oh, I don't like this word, but it does feel like you've achieved this pinnacle moment. um and it's almost like a breakthrough, but it feels less like smashing glass breakthrough, and more of, again, this like this opening that has finally aligned and occurred. I'm getting, it feels like it's in outer space, like, it's like in the cosmos kind of thing. But that's the thread that's opening right now for you, and that you're dancing in. Ah, metaphorical dancing. There it is. Not that you can't be dancing, but the image, the slightly off image, was like as if you're dancing in it, but that's actually not. It's this metaphorical dancing energy, and I'm getting a lot of like wands, fiery energy with that. It's very creative. Okay. This change is right and perfect is also what came through. Okay, so um next we had the Fool in reverse. That is irrelevant for this particular message. We've got the Fool, which represents beginning. We've had the Fool a lot lately, I feel, in recent readings. And so again, this change is right and perfect is what came through, kind of as, actually, this change is right and perfect is what kind of bridged these two cards. Now that I realize that. Um, and so what was really interesting is one thing that came in the world card was that magic exists in connection to the moment. Magic exists in connection to the moment. All right, it's almost this like present, like here's where the spark is. This magic is right here in the moment. And what says this, the secret of the Fool card is trusting in what unfolds in every moment. So I love this. I love this here. Magic exists in connection to the moment, and trust what unfolds in every moment. Okay, so here I've got like a lot of connection and trust. Oh, this is so deep, and particularly for creatives and artists, I felt a particular extra calling towards, this is for everyone, but there's a specific, I felt a lot of energy towards artists and creatives around really trusting the creative spark that's happening right now, and really moving with it. Like, this is the moment to like move with that. Drop the other stories that have come along the way. Uh, this is a moment to move through and trust it. It says what's happening right now. Oh, it didn't say that. That's a message that came through, was what's happening right now is for your highest good. And if you're navigating a massive shift, which many of you may be, this shift is for your highest good. Okay, and the reminder that what is happening on that macro level, these major collapses and shifts and changes as we're walking through it, is going to be mimicked in our own life, and almost like the energetic necessity of that to bring us along, as long as we're sticking around on the planet, right? Like, we're going to be affected in our own, like the micro and the macro. And so these changes, while they are absolutely filled with significance for your individual life, there's also a reality that, like, on a macro level, these are like the details of things that are realigning you and recalibrating you energetically to exist and be in this like new earth experience that is happening and taking place, to be in alignment with this movement. So on one end, the details are insignificant because it just needs to happen. It's kind of like, for example, like when a relationship is not meant to move forward, Like we can get so caught up in the details around like what happened and like what the causes were for that. At the end of the day, like if the thing's not right, like it needs to end somehow. And in certain ways, the details are almost insignificant. Now, we can find and experience a great deal of significance that's particular to what we're working through in our own personal patterns and traumas and all these other things, or things that need to happen in order to get us where we're going. So there is both incredible significance and not necessarily always a need to get hung up on the details, which I think can be really, really hard in this human experience. So, for whatever that's worth. Okay. Next we had a King of Cups. Okay, and this is the card of the artist. Love this. Okay. This is about using everything at your disposal, okay? All of your innate gifts, and to move through this moment is really what I got with this card. This is just an anchoring and encouraging of all of the other two cards, okay? This is really trusting self. Um, this card it says is that the King of Pentacles controls by not controlling. We've had him appear one other time before in an earlier towards the beginning of when I was doing these readings. And he also uplifts and allows. No, he opens up and allows. Okay. This is accessing the deeper parts of you. I'm going to see if there's anything else that wants to come through to bridge this moment. He is significant in all ways, great and small. There's a moment here to bring everything together. Like everything is both coming together, but also when it comes to those innate gifts and using everything at your disposal, integration. This may be for some an integration of your gifts as well. This is almost a full circle moment, because we had a message that was similar to this in a different way at a reading a number of weeks ago, where you might be opening up and utilizing your gifts in a different way, and in a way that integrates. So for example, like, you know, you have this particular gifting and skill set, and you've got another gifting and skill set that's innate, and it's almost like, I'm actually offering something new and bringing these together in a way that maybe it hasn't been done before, maybe it has, and you're putting a different spin on it, but it really is really opening up to this creativity. Again, releasing control around the shoulds and the what ifs and former ways of doing things, and allowing this emergence. I'm feeling aspects of control in this moment. Okay. From a different deck, this is a different tarot deck. This was also gifted to me by my friend Emily. We pull a Knight of Pentacles, and this particular card in this deck is about being the one who rides all the way through. And so this is seeing the situation through to completion. This is buckling up and putting in the work. All right, this is accessing the deeper resource within you. This is committing to the experience long term, doing what needs to be done for this experience. And that's part of the moment that we're moving through right now. Oh, I'm having a tremendous amount of resistance coming up. It is throwing me off. aspects of me delivering this message are feeling forced, almost like I'm controlling it a bit. I'm too worried about time. Concerned for what the viewer thinks. Wow, I've got tears coming to my eyes. And I'm getting a sense of like inner child, kind of pain or in this particular instance, a little painful moments around imperfection with others, with friends. But this desperate desire for, I don't know, getting things right and a need to control, this like need for perfection in order to be seen and to belong. And the tears are like what comes in not having to do that anymore, but matched with like the intensity of feeling the need to do it. Almost that desperate, like, but I have to do this. Like, I have to care this much. I have to try this hard. I have to get it right. And the tears are just the pain of that. I just asked my archangels, what do I do with this moment? They said, keep moving through it. Struggling with this and also allowing the significance of the moment to be what I'm moving through and to let that be seen. Ooh. You know, what comes up for me, and this is just like that direct control, this control, and I think those who struggle with perfectionism, control, artists, creatives, right? Just that, that gritting, when we just want something to be how we want it to be or what we think it's supposed to be. Which, yeah, okay. Ooh, everything, what I was fighting throughout a couple cards was this, I wanted to stop this video. I wanted to stop it and start over. And I still want to. I still want to. And it's like, okay. It's like there's this, I'll share a self aspect. I know for myself, there's this like bridge moment that's happening, right? So many of us are experiencing it. And like, it's almost that moment where like like you're still doing aspects of how you used to do things, right? And this could also be if you're having like creating new habits, whatever. You're still doing aspects of how you used to do things. And yet there's also the integration of like the way you're going to be doing things. And I feel like there's so often there's like this kind of fuzziness and these like these like crossovers, right, that happen. And I can say for myself, I struggle with that. I struggle with that coming out during a reading. I mean, I've had it in the back around how I'm doing these readings and the shifts that are taking place. And it's like I'm frustrated in this moment where it's like so many parts of me want to do it differently. And then there's other parts that are like, yeah, but the message is still this, or the way of doing it is still this for this particular moment in this particular reading. And it's just messy. you know, and there's so much of me in this moment that's like, we're not posting this. And there's the other part that's like, yeah, post it though, because like, let people see that. I'm like, who needs to see it? Everyone's experiencing it on their own anyway. We all know what significance is that. Maybe there is some, so we'll see. Maybe I'll redo it. Who knows? What I will say, because Wizard of Oz. Yo, and the monkeys are flying. I love that. They just came out of nowhere. Oh, that's amazing. I wanted to go through this whole process with you. Kale, this is not about your processing. This is a reading for everyone. And I don't know. There's part of it's like, yeah, well, maybe this is helpful for someone. Because I'm so concerned about time. It's like I have this rule for myself now of like, I want it to be under 15 and I want it to be under 20. Why do I want that? Assuming that it'll be more digestible for people, that people will be more likely to watch it. Not necessarily. Plenty of people with hundreds or thousands of views have readings that are 20 and 30 minutes, right? So it's just that was an idea planted, not by me. Uh, and the person who planted this might watch it, and you know who you are, and that's okay. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I clung to it, and probably because it was already within me to be aware of. Though I had to originally given myself full permission of like, hey, this is fine, but having it mimicked back to me, especially with somebody who appreciates these readings, I was like, oh, and so now it's like been in my mind to be shorter. But there's a side for myself where that can be helpful on as an energy reserve, but it's gotten in there a little bit too much. And so I feel like when it naturally flows to be shorter, great. When it doesn't, here we are. So I have to release that. The monkeys. So what I do want to read is with our last card here, kind of our last card, is the Eight of Swords. All right, Eight of Swords is the card of restraint. And I really just wanted to actually read from the book directly because of what it offered. Okay. And so I'm going to start here. The Eight of Swords is the card of restraint and being held captive in a situation beyond your control. We've gotten this a few times as well, right? 'Tis the season. The esoteric reading and secret of this card reveals occult initiation, right? And so for those who that resonates with, this is a very deep, energetic, mastery, magical moment of initiation. For others who don't resonate with that type of wording or energy, this is perhaps just simply like a spiritual initiation, a deeper dive into like self mastery, a deeper dive into trusting of your higher power, perhaps. But it's a pivotal moment. It's a bridge moment, right? Like all these things are coming together. There's portals you're crossing through. Um, I'm speaking, I feel like my words right now are attempting to speak to multiple audiences um, for its relatability, but there we are. The witch gives herself over to a harrowing maybe, ordeal, so that when she emerges and removes the blindfold, she will see the world with a new set of eyes. Okay? Um, and traditionally, she has blindfolded herself. With this, I believe, to go in for deeper introspection. Or no, false. Wait, that's a different card. Hold on. I want to make sure I'm clear and relaying correct information for you. That I'm not confusing that. Because that would bother me, and then I'd be all upset about it and have to acknowledge it in another reading and blah, blah, blah. Yep, that's Two of Swords. Here we are. I knew it. Two of Swords is she did that on purpose to go inward. So no. Erase. Pause. Rewind. Cancel. Delete. Oh my gosh. This is painful for me, y'all. This is a painful reading for me to get through right now. Okay. Ignore that. The witch gives herself over to a harrowing ordeal so that when she emerges and removes the blindfold, she will see the world in it with a new set of eyes. and she will be reborn. So maybe she did do that on purpose. Who knows? I don't think it matters. Or maybe if it does, if it's significant to you, probably on some soul level, we've done it to ourselves. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this, Kale. Apply this esoteric reading to your life. You alone must face your greatest challenge. You alone must face your greatest challenge. Will you greet it willingly? Call for help or request guidance in advance, but to conquer inner demons and repetitive patterns, you must fix it. An upright, this is shamanic initiation, entrapment, isolation. Ooh, violence towards the self. I don't like that, but maybe being a little harsh. Struggling internally, trying to control what cannot be tamed. I get this one a lot in connection to other aspects of our reading, the trying to control what cannot be tamed. There it is. Giving yourself over to the challenge to conquer it. So there's like a big yes here to like what is happening at hand and not going back to former ways of getting through the situation in order to move forward. Like that's not effective here, like at all. And that's probably creating more of a struggle, more of a challenge. Because it's just not a different you. A different you is needed. A different um, a different depth of going into your inner resources is needed. A different depth of like cultivating, utilizing your innate gifts and talents is needed here in this moment. Okay, so being able to like surrender to that and be like, okay, like yes, this is the moment at hand, this is the challenge at hand, and I am fully capable of conquering this and to moving through this and to being successful in this moment, whatever that success actually means for me in this moment. But it's not the former way of doing things, okay? And it might feel particularly challenging for those of us who like maybe have stayed away from fully honoring these gifts and experiences, um, fully embracing certain projects, perhaps creative projects or otherwise. Um, for some, maybe maybe it's businesses. For others, it's I don't know, making a shift or move. I'll stop speculating that. You'll know what it is for you. But again, in the trying to control what cannot be tamed, I'm getting a lot of like artist and canvas messages like lately, and different ways of looking at what all of that represents. Um, and I'll share this story. I think I've shared this before, but what's coming through is like, again, not being over controlling with like what wants to emerge on the canvas. And I had my own an experience with that in a workshop one time where what I had on the canvas was beautiful. I loved it, and what I could sense that something else was seeking to emerge, and that was bothersome to me because I actually liked what was already there. And working through that process of letting go and the grief and the recognition of like again, even great and beautiful things sometimes are like not the final thing, not the thing, when something else is seeking to emerge. So you know it can be easier to move through that when it's something we don't like, and even then it can be challenging, let alone when it's something we do. And so the process of like I entirely painted over it, right? This other thing was seeking to emerge. And I can't say that it was like, oh my gosh, like this, or like, oh, it's so much better, or whatever the thing was. It wasn't even about that. It was just honoring what was seeking to emerge and what was like wanting to be there. And I had the satisfaction of knowing that like that was what was meant to be there. Um, and like and not arguing with that. And letting the process be what it is. And so there's this experience, right, and this opportunity, and whether we have that for like ourself, what we're bringing into the world, but the self that's wanting to emerge, we had in the channeled reading, I believe, right, the unzipping of the suit and stepping through and letting that self emerge. And in that reading we talked about like the massive change, right, on that flowing river. If any of this is connecting, maybe checking out that the reading before this. It wasn't a tarot reading specifically. It was a channeled reading, but there's a newness here, right? And to not over control that is important, because it can't be tamed. It's gonna keep seeking to emerge through you regardless. So we can surrender to it, and that is going to require, of course, moving through our fears that we have and other stories that we've had about ourselves, about maybe perhaps what we offer, or what we're wanting to move through, or who we are. Because for each person, I know this is a different thing that's being tackled, but really challenging those narratives, right? You know, is it true? You know, the Byron Katie's work of, is it true? Is it really true? And like, are you absolutely sure that it's true? Right? And really challenging some of those narratives. Okay? So, wow, what a journey this was. And I did pull at the end of that also a King of Swords, and to me, like this was all like again, you know what this is. This is clarity. This is the master planner. This is the like just again a pillar of clarity and discernment. Um, you know, allow yourself to move slow enough to discern that. That's what I have for you, friends. This is going to be interesting. I always watch these before I post them, and then I watch them again after I post them. I'm very curious to see what I decide to do with this, if I decide to post it or not. Of course, I will have to actually consult not just my own feeling. Let's see what my angels suggest here. I imagine they're going to have me post it. Here we are. It's fine. All of that to say, if I can be of any support to you as you move through these moments, you know, these readings are to a certain degree specific, but in the individual one-on-one, like the video readings that I offer, we get way more specific. Got a lot of info for you to chew on, and it can last you quite a while, but we get real specific there. And so I want to offer that. And please don't let money be a barrier. If you feel really called to this, email me. My email is in the link. It's ritualsofpresence@gmail.com. But you know, click on my little like icon for the channel, get to the channel homepage, you know, click on the channel, and then in the description, if you click on like read more or whatever, you're gonna see links. All right, and so there's booking links for again the video recorded, like you basically get your own kind of YouTube video, so to speak, but it's channeled for you. And I also have like my new offerings that I've posted, which are a 30-minute, 45-minute, or hour-long, more of like intuitive reading. So it's not specifically a tarot pull. We may pull a couple cards if that's desired, and or we feel like that's going to help us in the moment. But it's a little bit more geared towards just receiving the channeled guidance. And it'll be a combination. Honestly, I'm really open to like what calls in the moments, but those are live calls. Okay, just to clarify that it's going to be a combination of faculties, but not specifically a full-on like tarot spread situation. And that's namely because I'm just not well versed enough in it yet, and I don't feel ultimately, after I've done a few with folks, like I don't know that I feel that it's really they're still incredibly impactful. I can say on my own end, it doesn't feel like it flows the way I would like it to, and to utilize the most time. So, in terms of, yeah, the full spread. So, anyway, that's a lot of explanation. Here we are. Woo, dogs. Yes, and I also have other tools for transformation. I may talk about those more in another reading. Check those out. There's descriptions on the stand store. It's in the link, the digital decks. That's all there. I'm gonna be mindful of the time. I don't feel like this is the moment that I need to go further into those, but those are nice tools for attunement and recalibration and felt sense in the body around trust and liberation. Okay, so, and I believe actually this is, yeah, this evening, at some point this evening, I believe. Right now, the liberation and trust decks are free of charge or donation based, whatever you feel called towards. That's shifting tonight. I'll be changing that tonight, so that's there. Check it out. Okay, all right, I'm gonna be done with this. I'm done. I'm out. See you later.